Welcome to the Wally Show Aftercast. Today needs to be a faster cast because
that's
Betty
what
Rock,
you said yesterday.
I know, and it was faster, but Betty Rock is sick of me. That's why we don't have anything to go do.
It's my own fault because I said I wanted Dunkin'.
Yeah, you did, and you said it early, and we got on the coffee train bright and early.
Really early.
Choo-choo. And I have felt really good. I love me on coffee, quite honestly, and I know I'm at about a 10, and you need me at a 2. I'm an 11.
11?
If only my coffee number would correspond with my looks number, I would be so happy, you know?
I don't think the world could handle it.
No, not at all. All right, so let's get to some of the stuff we didn't get to on the show today. There was a lot of talk about Apple and rolling out the new beta version for their new iOS for their phone, which is going to move the end call to a different place. They're going to put it higher up with other things. And it's like, people are like, no way, they're freaking out. If that is our biggest worry of the week, I got to say we're doing pretty good.
It's a good time.
Like, we're doing well in this country, if that's the thing we get upset about. Because you look at people that have lost their homes in Lahaina and all these other places and wars in different countries, and we're indignant about that end button moving. Now, I do get it because it is annoying, but apparently there's a new version of the software that was shown somewhere, and somebody noticed that the end button is now moved back to the bottom. So the people have spoken, and maybe Apple has listened, but it's going to be down, but there's going to be another couple options over it, and so you still could go to hit end and add a call instead. And
so you got to be real careful.
Yeah, I mean, we have a thing when we have business phone calls that we used to have a handset phone in our office, and when we finished the call, I would hang it up a good 10 or 15 times. When we finish a FaceTime, I close the computer so I know it's down. When I hang up phone calls, I hit them 4 or 5 times just because I know 9 times out of 10 I'm going to say something stupid after a meeting or something that bothered me, or I'm going to process something out loud, and I don't want the other people that we were just on to hear it. And so, because that's my first reaction to things, and that's never my best reaction.
Usually the first is not the best.
First is the worst. We should make that a saying.
And second is better.
Better, but not great.
Third is usually where it's landed.
Getting in the pocket in the third, maybe the 4th or 5th generation for me is like
depends
where
on how mad you are.
That's my sweet spot, my 5th reaction. But yeah, I would I'm super paranoid about doing that. I remember one time when I worked at Radio Disney, we had thought we hung up on somebody. And we were doing this ultra clean, squeaky clean, thing for kids. And my partner and I were still shock jocks in the morning. And then we were doing this night show for kids. And it felt really weird for us. And so a lot of times we would finish a call and then we would say just the wrongest thing to make ourselves laugh and, be like, we're not doing this kids radio. And we had this mom on with us and we're talking about something. And I don't even remember what we said, but I just remember it was the wrongest thing. And then we hear, hello? And both of our faces just, oh
my gosh.
And we're like, oh, hang on one second. We put her on hold, and we go to our producer. This is where Gavin would have been nuts. We're like, Simon, you need to handle that. and he did, to his credit. But it was so, yeah.
That's awesome.
I'm super, super careful of that kind of stuff. Now, I know that the healthier option is to, hey, why didn't you just not say stuff? Right? I know, I see it. I see that that's the healthier option. Okay. I know the problem, Rock. I know I'm the problem. I get that, but I'm not ready to change it yet. In fact, I'm ready to ramp it back up. We did an interview yesterday with Kane. And we started talking, Tasha Layton was here. We did 2 interviews yesterday, and those will be coming out after Support Drive. But Tasha Layton, a guy that she works with, he was playing guitar for her, was telling me about an interview that we had done with Toby around his birthday. And and he was being vague about it. He's like, yeah, and that thing that you did with that, and it made somebody really mad. I'm going, what did we do? I said, I know we talked about his age, and at the time, Toby didn't want to cop to his age. And I'm like, oh, yeah, his manager was super mad about that. And he's like, oh, that's not who I was thinking of. I'm like, oh, really? And he was talking about, in that conversation, I was talking about DC Talk getting back together, and I made a joke about Kevin can take a little time from the Newsboys, Toby could take off time from touring, and if Kevin Max can get time off of Blockbuster, this could happen. And that was it. But it made Kevin Max so mad, and his fans, it started this war with us, and it was so bad. It was so bad.
I think he said, you got your names mixed up. You were saying Toby can take some time from the tour.
Yeah.
But you said Kevin instead.
Michael from Newsboys. Michael.
Oh, Michael
you
from Newsboys.
Kevin.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
But Kevin, and then you followed up with Kevin from Blockbuster.
Yeah, sorry.
Well,
but you know, Michael's name is Kevin Michael Tate. Did you know that?
Oh,
yes.
I'm being real.
Isn't Toby's name Kevin too?
Yeah, there's two, Toby, yeah.
Is Toby's first name Toby?
No, it's just two. That's a nickname. His name is Tobias McKeon.
Tobias. That's what I was like. I didn't think Toby was the.
No, he got that because somebody in his family couldn't say.
Toby's real name is Kevin Michael.
Kevin Michael.
Oh.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's what it is, because he had both names of the other two people in his band.
But going
Thank
back
you.
to the statement, don't you see, though, where the Blockbuster comment could come off a little rude?
Oh, for sure. That was the point. Like that's
you
what,
want to come across as rude?
Well, no, but that's what makes it funny. You know, like that's what the statement was. I knew exactly what I was saying. I was saying that the other two guys' careers have done well and his is not. Like I knew what I was saying.
That's the part that I don't understand on how you see that as funny.
Right, and that's what
it's like meeting someone for the first time, having no relationship with them, and already busting them.
Well, see, it's why we sit in two different chairs.
Oh, for sure.
Like this is
because
why
I would never say those things.
Exactly, but that's what has made this show get notoriety or whatever. And it's like when
whether positive or negative.
Sure, and I'm okay with that. Like the new guy coming in, and I put that sign on his door welcoming him with all the other people's names scratched off that had his job before him.
So good.
And you were like traumatized by it. You're like, you shouldn't do it. You shouldn't do it. It's not good. And he loved it. He thought it was funny.
Well, he cries at night, but
I don't care. But no, so I know there are things that sometimes I had done in the past purposely to push buttons. I knew exactly what I was doing. I just didn't know that it would blow up like it did. And so that became this big thing. But then it's back to the story about Kane, or about this guy from Mike. I was recanting different things. I'm like, yeah, man, I didn't know he was mad. I said a lot of times I found out years later that I had made somebody mad. I had no idea, you know, and that happened a lot early on. I started going through the list of all these artists that I'd actually made mad, and most of them, in my defense, most of them were unintentional. The Kevin Max thing was intentional, but most of them were unintentional, you know, and so, but I do get it. Like, I mean, it would make my life easier if I just didn't go for the joke and say, but I'm not going to change me. I don't want to change me. I'm okay with me. Thank you.
Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
Yeah, exactly. Because I thought about it, and this is what I was talking about a second ago. I feel like the show has become watered down. I had a big email exchange with a lady yesterday about me being political and something I said about woke liberalism. And I wrote her back and I said, look, I disagree with you on this and the assumption. And I said, I hope that you respect the fact enough that I'm taking the time to interact with you versus placate you with an apology that I don't mean. Because that's what most Christian stations do. They're so afraid of losing you that they're going to say they're sorry and they're going to recant. And I'm like, I'm not going to do that because I don't feel I was wrong in this case. But I respect you bringing this opinion up. And it will be in my head next time I'm talking about stuff. So it's not like you haven't had an effect, but I just disagree with you. Mm-hmm. And so I have her email sitting, her response waiting for me. So I got to look at that after work today.
But see, when you say that sentence, a smile just comes over.
I
You
know.
are so excited about it.
Because I miss the old Wally. I have let this place take so many edges off of me, especially on the radio show, that I don't even always recognize it anymore. Now, I know that there are good moments, and I love those good moments, and they're nice and positive, but I miss the angst on the show. That's why I love the Aftercast. It's where I can actually be more of me. And honestly, on the show, people wouldn't recognize what the show is now. Now, a lot of people say, not a lot. Some people say, oh, it's better now. It's more well-rounded. And maybe that's true. I don't know. I disagree. I think people talked about this show a lot more when I was more angsty or
Edgy.
was edgy, pushing the boundaries. It was talked about in our industry more. And I fear that I've become that which I hated. Like, I fear that I have sold out on the air. And now, is that smart business? Probably. Know what your customer wants from you, and you give them that. Like, that's a good business principle.
Though I will say, every once a week, twice a week, you do have a line here and there where you'll say, you wouldn't hear that on blankety blank.
Right. But that used to be every day.
Yeah.
Blankety blank, though, is not him.
A swear word.
No. My bad. It's
a different station.
Still, yeah.
You won't hear that on K-Love.
No.
Or whatever. To me, honestly, that's my barometer for where the show is at. When we finish a break on the show, if I can say, you're not going to hear that on K-Love today, I'm happy. I'm thrilled. That makes my heart flutter, and I want to come in and do it again tomorrow.
You were giving some advice earlier before we started our Aftercast and giving them some advice about what they should do on something that was difficult that they were facing. And honestly, maybe that's something you should do as well. Like when you say, I feel like I've lost the edge or whatever. If you took time to listen to other Christian radio stations and then you compare it to what we do here, I think you would see there's a big difference.
Yes,
in what we do.
That is true. There is still a bit. You are right. But here's the thing. I've never compared myself to other shows, and I don't listen to a lot of shows. I'll listen to things here and there if I'm on vacation or if someone sends me stuff, and I listen to go, okay, yeah, we're different than them. But my own barometer has always been our own show. Like, that's always been my barometer. Yeah. At the end of the day, am I happy with what we put out? Did I enjoy it? Did I think it was good? And like yesterday, we had a lot. We had 2 big interviews, and everything worked. And I went home knowing there's a lot more work to put it all together, but I was very, very happy. I was proud. Everybody did their jobs well, and we got great content.
And I think, too, if you went and tried to do this show at another station, it would not fly.
Oh, I couldn't.
Like, you have way more say.
Yeah. There's no way that we could do this show. I can't think of a place in Christian radio. Maybe no, that station won't do it either. There's no other place that I think we could go, and so I am thankful. I even though I feel like it's become watered down on the radio show of this, I am still thankful for it. I was telling them the way on the days when I'm really not thrilled, I go and I look at the job section of the Christian radio. It's like a Christian radio job site, and I look at these jobs and how horrible they are, and it reminds me that okay, you're still in a good place. Even if you're not elated and you don't feel like you're doing what you used to do, you're still in a better place than 99, but than everybody else in this industry. And I still get to work with people I like. Like, that's huge. And we get to just do this show. Because that's not normal either. Right. Normally Betty would have 2 other jobs. Gavin would have 4 other jobs. And I'd have to track, shows for other stations and stuff. So, yeah, I'm thankful, for what we've been allowed to do here. So I think I'll end with that. I am thankful.
Wow.
How'd we get there?
There you go. From Apple iPhone.
Yeah. I couldn't remember if we had moved on to Betty's story or if we had something else.
No, that was just how we got there.
It's going to be a shorter Aftercast.
Yeah, I know. 13 minutes. Go, Rock.
Okay, so mine has to do with Hawaii. Oprah Winfrey is catching heat, even though she had good intentions, and I still think she does.
I'm going to need you to take that metaphor back because do you know that Lahaina was on fire?
Right.
And
right.
I am now triggered, and I am offended by your
Thank you for speaking your truth.
Compassion and concern for these people.
I apologize.
Thank you.
And that's probably how Oprah is feeling right now.
Probably.
So she had every good intentions of... She went and flew to Maui, and she was going to help all the people in Lahaina. get better and, do her part. But now people are getting on to her. These bored trolls online are getting on to her and saying, if you really wanted to help, you would give up the land that you own in Maui and give it back to the locals.
Oh my gosh. It's never enough for people.
It isn't. And people are very quick to judge. So she hasn't spoken out about it. She hasn't said.
And she shouldn't.
Right. But also, too, there's been a lot of photos taken of her being outside of like the what do you call it? Not the Salvation Army type places, that people are going to for like supplies and stuff.
Oh yeah, like the not refuges.
Habitat for Humanity.
Well, I had this in my head. Shelters. There you go. Thank you. Nicely done.
Photos are being taken of her outside the shelter, and she's doing interviews with cameras and crew.
She should, because that's how she raises awareness.
Exactly. But people are like, oh, of course she's going to go and she's going to make herself look good in front of the camera. Like, there is literally nothing she can do right. Everyone is going to be a critic for her.
Look, here's the deal. She can fly down there. She can pump money into that thing. She's got millions and millions floating around, and she can help raise awareness for it. She's not going to be any good swinging a hammer. That's not what she's put on this earth to do, is go build a wall for these people.
Right.
That's not her job. Her job is she can be an effective fundraiser for them and raise awareness. And you
she's
have
doing
to give
more
her that
than
space.
most.
Yeah, everyone that's trolling her, I guarantee you, didn't donate to any ministry that's doing anything and did zero to help except just point fingers.
Right.
Guaranteed.
So I hope she has people in her life that are pointing those things out. Another celebrity that's doing some good, but he's not catching heat for it yet. He's not getting a lot of negative comments.
Oh, thank you. Again, you're just...
I'm so sorry. Matthew McConaughey, him and his son are funding a plane that is filled with emergency supplies to aid children and families in Maui.
Nice.
And so he's doing some good as well. Hopefully he won't get trolled for it, but I'm sure the trolls will find something wrong.
You know what? That plane burns fossil fuels. Oh, I want to murder you. I just watched a whole thing on electric cars and people that are like, it's so green, it's going to save the world. And then when they break down, you have to, for one electric car battery, you have to mine 500,000 tons, or 500,000, was it ton? It was a big number of rocks and minerals to produce that battery. And all of that mining is done by vehicles with fossil fuels. Where do you get your electricity for your electric car? From fossil fuels, from natural gas, because that's how your electric plants run. Very few nuclear plants are running. Wind is only 12% of our electricity production. And so they say that to drive your electric car, to undo the footprint it took to make it, because everyone talks about your carbon footprint, to undo that, you have to drive that car for 100,000 miles before it breaks even. And then after that, you're only reducing your footprint by about 20%. So not nothing, but not what they think. It's not zero emissions like they're saying, and so it's just, it's such a shell game with these people and everyone that gets offended by everything, but has no knowledge of what they speak. That's what bothers me. Now, that said, there's times I've gone off Hopcock too.
Well, at least you see it.
Oh, I see it. I know it. I'm all opinion sometimes, and so I'll give someone a little bit of grace there. You got any birthdays, lady?
I don't, but I do have a question, and it's a great question. It's from Naomi. She gives us a hypothetical situation. She says, all three of you got arrested for a beaver nugget factory burn down.
Okay.
What? Why?
Who did it and why?
Why would we be?
Well, I know that Betty Rock is the one that did it.
Why am I the one?
But you're not an arsonist. It was an accident.
Oh.
Because you were in there and you were trying to make your own Beaver Nuggets candle like I gave you.
I loved it.
It was so good.
Yeah.
From actual Beaver Nuggets, and things got out of control, got out of hand, and it burned the place down. So that's my bet is you, but by accident. Because I don't think you have an arson bone in your body. Me, on the other hand, I love fire.
I think that, I think Wally is probably the first person that gets the finger pointed at him.
Sure.
Something somewhere Buc-ee's decides that they want to push some like liberal agenda, which is so
I'm
not.
gonna burn them
That's
down.
exactly what I was going to say.
It's not their prerogative because I don't think Buc-ee's will ever identify like that.
Yeah.
But let's say they do one day.
They hired Dylan Mulvaney.
Yeah.
I would love to see Buc-ee's do that.
Wally's in his like mid 60s and he's just like, this is a good time to finish it all off.
Yeah.
And we were there.
Yeah.
That's the reason we got arrested was we were there to try and talk him down.
We were trying to tackle him as the flame was been thrown.
Right. And then he set the place on fire.
Absolutely fair. I could see that.
Yeah.
I'm the guy that's set fires in the studio for different bits we've done, and we got in trouble
We
for
haven't
it.
had fire in here in a while.
No, we should do that.
No.
Do you have your lighter over there?
No.
What was that one time too recently? I lit a piece of paper on fire just because it was in here and just to make Betty like freak out. Oh, so good.
You done sprinklers.
Sparklers.
We did that. Even that was a while ago.
Yeah, we lit the Dorito on fire. We lit hand sanitizer on fire.
Man, we did that in the parking lot, though.
Yeah,
we got to get back to our arsonist roots.
Yeah, we really should.
Okay.
See, once again,
we've been a little.
I don't like where we.
I think I'm changing my answer.
No,
Gavin is the one that should have gotten arrested because he's the one that's poking the bear.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, he's learned from Zach. Like some of our best ideas came from Zach just saying things that were funny, and then me going, wait, we could do this. and then running with it and doing the things he would never do, but he would just say. And me, I'm like, let's do this. Oh, absolutely. Let's go protest the Newsboys in a lion costume.
Good times.
I know. I miss me so much. And I miss everyone gaslighting me. Like, I'm being gaslit. Betty Rock is gaslighting me on a daily basis that I'm a horrible person and I need to change and I need therapy and all this stuff. And I started to think about this the other day. I was processing this, and I'm like, no, I reject that premise. I reject that I need therapy. Everyone says, oh, you need therapy, like to each other.
Therapy isn't to change you. It's to become a better you.
But that's my point. I have no interest in being a better me.
Do you hear yourself?
Because I don't need to. That's the thing. Again, gaslighting me. I'm a good me.
The gaslight.
I like me. I do, and I'm good with that. It's people that can't stand themselves. Fine, go work yourself out. I got no problem with my narcissism. I think it's under control. All you see is red flags, and I don't see that. I don't. I should go to a therapist once to see if I can make them quit.
That's true. The barometer should be.
Can I go to your therapist?
No.
Yes.
The barometer should be. Listen. No. The barometer should be.
Yeah.
The statement that you say.
Yes.
If you could envision the guy that Haley, your daughter, is dating.
Yes.
Saying that, would you immediately tell her, dump him?
No, I'd be like, that's a guy who knows who he is. That's good. That's what you want.
That I am a narcissist and I'm happy with who I am?
Yeah, because
and
now,
I don't want to change me?
Yeah, because now you know what you're dealing with. Now you can choose to stay in that or choose to get out of that or whatever.
Is there a good reason to stay?
If you love them. Yeah, my wife stayed all these years.
Oh my God.
No, I'm not a complete narcissist, but I do have narcissistic tendencies, for sure. I have moments where I can be completely self-absorbed, but then I have moments where I'm unbelievably selfless, and so I run the gamut.
You don't watch those murder, serial killer documentaries, and they're like, and he was a narcissist, and everything they say about his personality, and you're like, yeah,
checks
I get
out.
that.
Yeah. I don't know why people are gaslighting him. That's what I always say.
Like one of those weirdos that identifies with the villain.
You look at that as a tutorial. If you're watching Dateline as a tutorial, that's a problem.
Got a problem.
I know. I get it. I get it a lot. Hey, I have to ask you this question real quick. This is something that I don't know if anyone will see it or not, if it will make it into the edit. I know parts of this will make it into the edit of our conversation with Kane, but there was something we were talking about that made me cry during this, and I was crying. My wife was crying, and I even made a joke because you were teared up too, and I'm like, the black-souled Betty Rock was crying. What made you cry in that? I'm fascinated.
Was it seeing your hero cry?
No, I think it's because...
Be honest.
I think it's because I care about Haley.
Yes.
And I care about Marty.
Okay.
That's where my caring ends.
No, I know that's not true.
And I just want what's best for her.
Yeah.
And it was good to hear like the hope that was in the Kane story.
Because they were talking about, spoiler, they were talking about being unequally yoked when they were dating. And that's a situation my daughter
Logan
is in.
and his wife.
Logan and his wife, correct. And she has this beautiful conversion story. And I saw hope in
Logan's wife did.
Yes, I saw hope in that it was like, okay, she found Christ and she was an alcoholic and it changed and you saw the difference in her. And so for me, that moved me and it gave me hope for my daughter's boyfriend that, am I happy with how this is going? No. But is he a great kid and he treats her well? He's got everything for potential.
Checks all the boxes.
Checks all the boxes but this one. And this is a big one. And I know my wife labors over this and it crushes her and it gets me too. And so, I was moved and I was actually happy, but that was Marty's thought too, was we were talking about why did Betty tear up, and she goes, I think it was probably because she's known Haley since she was 8 and cares about Haley and wants the best for her.
Well, and to like a lot of how y'all treat her, besides the wallet spending, a lot of the way y'all love her and care for her, I see how my parents treat me. Yeah. And I think it's because Haley and I are both only daughters. Yeah. And so I guess how I see the love and care that y'all have for her is how my parents see me too. And I know that if I were in that situation, I could see my parents being the same way. Yeah. And so it's just because I care about my parents. I care about Marty. I care about Haley. And,
you know what? I'll take that.
And
I love that you love the people I love, even if you don't love me.
And on that note,
well, there you go. All right, so there's some behind the scenes stuff that I don't know how much of that's going to make it into the final edit, but you as one of our potties, you actually, yes.
Did you want to talk about Tasha?
We'll do it tomorrow.
Oh, okay.
Now,
Never mind.
Yeah. Well, tomorrow we'll give you a little taste of something from the Tasha interview a few weeks before it actually airs because it was really good.
This is a teaser for the teaser.
Yeah, exactly. And maybe encourage you to join our potty group as well. But we'll do that tomorrow. And as always, thank you for being a potty.
Growing up in poverty has never been easy for children, but with the added challenges of the pandemic, conflict, and natural disasters, families around the world are facing an unprecedented food crisis. Unfortunately, those who are already hungry are now even more desperate. But by sponsoring a child through compassion, you can help provide life-sustaining essentials such as food and clean water. And with your compassionate support, that child can not only survive, but also flourish. You can find out how and choose a child to sponsor when you click on the compassion banner at wayfm.com.